Well, we are here at the brand new state-of-the-art comprehensive breast center by State of Franklin Healthcare here in Johnson City. We are joined by radiologist Dr. Raymond Kohne. And Dr. Kohne, thanks so much for having us out today.
Oh, Amy, my pleasure. I'm so excited and glad that you could come here and visit us today to see what we're doing for our community. We've opened up now, and we have a totally different view on taking care of patients. We're not calling our patients patients anymore, but guests. And you'll look around this area that it looks more like a living room than it does actually a waiting area or a patient area. And we're trying to take from the hospitality industry and treat our patients as guests, not as patients. And we've gone so far as even labeling some of our rooms guest suites or guest waiting area rather than patient waiting area. The whole point being is we're trying to have a spa-like atmosphere, but a home-like atmosphere. It's challenging for any woman to come in and get these scary mammograms. And so we wanted them to feel at home as much as possible. And particularly if it goes on to a biopsy or further procedures, we want them to have a special way of being treated.
You're very passionate about this, and you say, really, this is something you've devoted years and years to, and having that equipment and then having also sort of that hospitality way, kind of both win-win there.
Absolutely. Our patients are going to come out winning here, and we really want to take care of them rapidly and not having them to wait for weeks to get their answers. What I don't want to happen is what's happened in so many regions across the country, where a patient will come in, she'll get a mammogram, they'll call her back a week later for another mammogram. Then what happens? They call her back for an ultrasound. Now we're into 3 weeks. Then finally, if she requires one, a biopsy up to a month later. I can't have my guests waiting that long to be taken care of. We'll take care of you absolutely as quickly as possible so that we can, resolve that anxiety. Many people say that's one of the greatest reasons they don't come get a mammogram, because they can't stand the anxiety of the wait. We're trying to reduce that wait down to an absolute minimum and get rid of that anxiety. Plus, the sooner we find it, if it is a cancer, heaven forbid, we'll be able to treat it much quicker. And that's the whole point, catching them early, taking care of that problem, and taking care of our guests.
We are taking you inside one of the rooms now to really show you that state-of-the-art you've been talking about, and this is some of the equipment that you're using here.
Absolutely. So this is brand new state-of-the-art equipment, and like we talked about years ago when you first interviewed me, I was the first to bring 3D technology to East Tennessee, and I was very proud of that. But now we're bringing new technologies to East Tennessee and further taking care of our community much better. So this equipment is 3D. All of our mammograms are 3D now. We don't default back to 2D unless the patient's insurance requires that, absolutely. But in most cases, 41% better detection of cancers. All our patients deserve that, so that's what we offer them. And on top of it, we're the first, I'm proud to announce, the first to my knowledge in this region that offers 3D biopsy capabilities. Up till now, we could image something in 3D, but if we could only see it in 3D, we had no way of biopsying it. This new technology actually allows us to biopsy the lesions that we can only see on 3D in 3D, and that's new to the region. I brought that. This is the first unit, to my understanding, in the region that is capable of that wonderful task.
Yeah, that's huge. Talk to me, Dr. Kohne. Explain to our patients what that means. What did you have to do in the past when you weren't able to do this?
In the past, we did 3Ds. We would see a lesion that was a little suspicious, but we would have to follow that lesion until it grew. And once it was big enough that we could see it on ultrasound or see it on MR or something else, we couldn't do anything about it. That patient would suffer and wait 6 months, a year, 2 years until we could clear it. Now we don't have to do that anymore. We take the anxiety all the way out of it. If I see something that's questionable on a 3D mammogram, I can biopsy it now in 3D. I wasn't able to do that. And I remember 2 patients in particular that I had to follow for literally years to make sure that that was nothing, where we could have answered it right away and taken all that anxiety away from the patients.
Huge breakthrough.
It's a huge breakthrough.
Well, again, we are sort of taking you on a tour here of the Comprehensive Breast Center, and I'm really learning why this is so comprehensive. It really is full circle, Dr. Kohne.
Correct, and that's what we're trying to do. So this is the nerve center. This is where all the images will ultimately come to. And so we'll read the images here. So the plan, honestly, in the future, as we grow this and get things up and running, is for a patient to literally come in, get their mammogram, turn around, walk out, and with the computer system, read the studies as they're getting changed, and hopefully get that information as they leave, or at least within a day or two. No more waiting, no more sitting around. The whole point is to get these things done quickly. And for me, it's a personal story where Thanksgiving 18 years ago, my mother-in-law came over for dinner and said, "Hey, I've got a lump under my arm. What should I do about it?" I marched her immediately over to the hospital, did an ultrasound, and there was a mass. She already had stage 3 cancer. They didn't have the 3D technology back then. She had very dense breasts. They didn't see it. They sat on it for 2 whole years. This lady was a saint in essence. She would go out and she would feed the homeless every Saturday night. She would clothe them, and at her funeral it was so touching that 20 of these homeless men came and actually sang at her funeral. So this is personal to me. This isn't just a job. This is very, very personal to be able to do that. And I know the anxiety that our family went through for 16 years. If I can avoid that stress for anyone, that's what makes this job so wonderful. We went into this to take care of patients. And it's an honor. It's truly an honor and a privilege to be able to do that, and to have a center now that has the absolute latest and greatest technology to do that, to save lives, is what it's all about. This has been my dream for 10 years. This has been a dream of mine. I've designed the center based on what I've thought about for the last 10 years, and now, thanks to State of Franklin Health Associates, I'm able to create that dream with their support. And what a team to be playing ball with. I'm very honored to be here.
Well, we are certainly glad to have you here in our community. We do want to let everybody know they are taking patients. You can schedule your mammogram today. We'll give you all of that information. Again, it is State of Franklin Healthcare Associates. It is the new Comprehensive Breast Center. Here is that information. Here is the phone number as well as the website. You can call them today and schedule your appointment. Dr. Kohne, thanks so much for having us.
Thank you so much for coming by.